Hey, what's up, brother? In today's video, I'm going to spend some time talking about the 5 reasons why comfort is holding you back from reaching your full potential. Now, you've probably been that guy before. I know that I have, where something was easier for you than it is for most people, whether that be a sport, lifting a certain amount of weight. Maybe you're just particularly talented at something that other people aren't. And so you feel proud that you're good at something. You're better at something than most people. And so you feel the need to, I hate to say flaunt or brag, but that's almost the case. And this video was kind of inspired by another video that I saw online where there's this power lifter posting content bragging that his 600 pound deadlift was easy for him, and he's posting his workout videos, 3 reps at 500 easy, etc., etc. And he had this attitude of arrogance where he's better than other people because he's able to do something that they can't. And I thought to myself, how is that impressive? In my mind, doing something that is challenging to you, pushing yourself beyond your limits, stepping outside of your comfort zone, doing hard things is what's most respectable. The accomplishment is great. The fact that you can do something that most people can't is incredible. I think it's awesome that you've put the time in, the effort in, the energy in, and you've been consistent and dedicated enough for long enough to be able to reach that peak physical performance or that degree of skill or talent. But then you're bragging because you're doing things that are easy for you. When in fact, doing things that are easy for you isn't what got you where you are. It was doing things that are hard. And so I want to spend some time talking about how we as men have these different ways that we become complacent in our lives, or how us seeking comfort prevents us from reaching our potential. And the very first way is just the common structure, or we'll say framework, that we as men expect to follow in our lives. We think about this idea of working until retirement. We spend our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s building a skill set, building our career, building our wealth, building our legacy. And then we think that ultimately the goal is working towards this retirement, and the pinnacle of life and success is building a place on top of a mountain where you can be comfortable. When in fact, it's comfort that breeds complacency. Comfort is a slow death. So in my mind, and this is contrary to what we as a society generally believe, if struggle, challenge, pain, hardship was what got me where I am, was what gave me the tools that I needed to succeed, is what gave me a sense of purpose and fulfillment and happiness in my life, why would I pursue comfort? Now, I'm not going to be the guy who's going to be unrealistic and say that we as people don't deserve to live in a place of comfort and enjoy our lives and indulge in the things that we want to indulge in to some degree. But at the same time, we also have to understand that it's not the outcome, it's the process. The process of overcoming the challenges, the process of doing the things that are hard, that are unknown, the process of stepping outside of your comfort zone that develops us into the men that we want to be. Yet for some reason, we have this mindset where the ultimate goal is to build a comfortable life. It doesn't make sense. And so I just want to point out the fact that, and I've said this before, comfort and growth can't happen in the same place. When comfort becomes the primary goal, growth takes a back seat. People generally stick to what they know, what they're good at, what they're comfortable with, what they're familiar with. And this ultimately limits their potential. It limits their ability to develop and grow and get better, because by nature of the DNA of the way that they choose to live their life, there's no hardship built into it. There's no challenge built into it. And this is exactly what prevents them from maximizing their potential. And not just that, and this kind of leads me into my second point, is a lot of times we as men, we pursue things. We see what other men have, material possessions, whether that be money, cars, houses, whatever the case may be. And we measure success based upon what another man visually has. But the truth is, and the fact that I exist and do what I do for a living is living proof of this fact, despite the fact that most successful men seem to have it all together. They seem to have everything right. They seem to have it all figured out. They're all struggling internally. They're struggling with their mental health. They're struggling with depression. They're struggling with their mindset. They're struggling to stay on track and feel fulfilled because it's not the things, the material possessions, the money that dictate success or happiness. It's the personal growth. It's the process. It's overcoming the challenges. It's overcoming your fears. It's the process that gives fulfillment. So many men believe that it's the material possessions that give them happiness, and they revolve their entire lives around building that and getting those things, when happiness doesn't come from those things. It comes from what you become in the process of earning that for yourself. It's interesting because I've worked with guys who have it all. I've been the guy who has it all, and I still struggled here. I still struggled mentally. It's because I thought that having those things is what was going to make me happy, when in fact what truly made me happy was overcoming the challenges and the obstacles and the personal development that came with becoming the man who could have those things. And understand those are two very different things. We're taught that we need to work in a job for X number of years so that we could retire and ultimately come to a place where we do nothing so that we can live this comfortable life. And then we're taught that you need to work hard so that you can build this comfortable life, which comes from having these material things that give you comfort. Big house, nice cars, luxury goods, etc., etc. When the truth is, and this kind of leads into reason number 3, is we don't realize that all of the growth, all of the fulfillment, and all of us reaching our potential as men is acquired, gained, and built through pain. It's outside of our comfort zone. It's through the hardship. It's through the challenge. Like for me, and I've talked about this before on many of my videos and podcasts, when I was going through my divorce, this is like 8 years ago, at the time, I thought it was the worst thing in the world that could have happened to me. I remember, I was literally suicidal. I hated myself. I couldn't forgive myself. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was a failure. The list goes on and on. And now, looking back at my life, on my second marriage, 2 more kids later, an entirely new career, an entirely new mindset, in the best shape I've ever been, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, just in a really phenomenal place in my life, I wouldn't be where I am now had I not gone through that immense, extremely painful process of heartbreak. And so we have to understand that these lessons, these challenges, these obstacles that are placed before us in our life are there for a specific reason. And that reason is to push us toward becoming the men that we are meant to become. You need the hardship. You need the challenge. And most of us, what we do, because of all the things I've talked about today on this video, we live in a place where we'd rather find comfort. Most people, they spend all of their time doing what they're good at, doing what they know, doing the same things over and over and over in their life. They could live in a place where they're unhappy with their life. They know that something needs to change, but they tolerate that because what you know, what you're comfortable with, what you're familiar with is much better than what you don't know. The unknown, the fear of failure, the fear of stepping outside of that comfort zone. And because of this, most of us spend our entire lives living in this place of stagnance, living in this place of mediocrity, missing out on the opportunities to develop new skills, to become a better person, and seek new opportunities. Because that fear of judgment, that fear of failure, that fear of the unknown controls us, and we become a slave to the familiar. It truly limits the potential of the person that we could grow to become because we never expand beyond the known. I grew up in Sacramento, California, and it's funny because since I left for the Army back in 2005, I probably went back to Sacramento less than a handful of times. And it has its novelty, going back and seeing old friends and connecting with people that I haven't talked to in years and seeing where people are. And every time I go back there is a certain degree of excitement. But by the time my trip is over, I'm always ready to leave because I realize why I left. Most of the people who I know who grew up there and never left are still doing the same things they were doing 20 years ago on repeat, repeating the cycles of their parents, feeding the same trauma that they experienced back to their own kids, not breaking the cycle, not improving, not getting better, not stepping out of their comfort zone and sticking to what they know to a point where they wasted an entire generation of their legacy and they don't even realize it. I know for me, the last thing that I would ever want to do is come to the end of my life and realize that I sold myself short because I squandered the opportunities that I had to go pursue the potential of the man that I could become simply because I was afraid of what other people think or afraid of failing. Avoiding discomfort, avoiding hard things limits who you can become, who you're called to become. And you have a responsibility as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a leader, to become the best version of yourself for those who look to you. And that leads me into the last way that comfort prevents men like you from reaching their full potential is virtues, the things that are respectable about us, our character, our values. Those things aren't just given to us, they're forged. Struggle and hardship are essential, necessary, mandatory for building true resilience and character. I have a 6-year-old son, and my 6-year-old son, he loves doing jiu-jitsu. It's one of his favorite things to do. We do it at least 3 to 4 times a week. He does his class. I help teach. And then after the kids' class, most of the dads, they stick around and they participate in the adult class. So all the kids get to play together. It's an awesome experience, phenomenal community, and it's something that I'm extremely thankful for to be able to participate in and share with my son. But during his classes, there are some kids who are killers. They're bigger than him, they're stronger than him, better than him. And me and his coach, his professor, we agree that at his skill level, his age and size, he's not learning anything from going in and winning every day and beating all of the kids that are his age and size. The only way to help my son to develop a mindset of resilience and character is to put him into a position where he's going to be physically, mentally, emotionally challenged. He has to experience losing. He has to experience the feeling of wanting to quit. He has to experience the pain that comes with getting his ass kicked. And he has to go through the emotions that come with all of those things. Then, when I as a father can lead him and be an example for him, and hold him accountable to the commitments that he makes and push him to become better and improve and not quit. And he comes out on the other side and prevails through those challenges. That's what gives him a mindset of resilience. Most fathers today, they've all quit on themselves. They're fat, they're overweight, they're out of shape. They make up excuses. They don't have the time or the motivation or the energy or the money. They use their job and the life that they've built as an excuse for not showing up as an example for their sons and daughters. So then, when it comes time for their children to want to give up, to want to quit, to want to back out of their commitments, those fathers don't have ground to stand on because they quit on themselves too. You can't be the dad who holds your children, your sons, to a higher standard than you hold yourself. That's not leadership. And so when you as a man embrace challenges and put yourself through difficult situations intentionally and pursue growth, your kids, they see that. And whether you want to believe it or not, they're watching you, everything you do. And so when it comes time for them to go through those challenges of their own, they're going to emulate what they see, what they learned, not what you tell them to do. So if you want to unlock your true potential, while also teaching your kids what it means to unlock their own potential and grow into becoming who they're meant to be, create mechanisms for challenge and hardship built into your life every day. So ultimately, you can come to a point in your life where not only are you maximizing and achieving your full potential as a man, but you're proud of the man that you see looking back at you in the mirror. Your wife respects you. Your children admire you. Your employees respect you. You're a role model in your community. You become the man that you say you want to be. And through that, your entire life gets a lift. And it all starts with strategically and intentionally creating challenges in your life that force you out of your comfort zone so that you can maximize your potential in a way that you need to so that you can become the version of the man that you're called to be. So check it out. I know that we live in a society today that places comfort and feelings and emotion over everything else. But the truth is, when we live in a world like that, that's when it becomes weak. It becomes soft. And when society becomes weak and soft and lacks character and resilience, that's when the bigger problems start to come. That's when your freedoms start getting taken from you. That's when people start walking on your liberty. And because we live in a society today where we lack most of those virtues, that's exactly why we're seeing the moral backbone of society crumbling around us. Your job as a man is about much more than pursuing your potential and seeking discomfort and hardship and challenge. It's about serving as that moral backbone that holds up everything about what makes us as people successful, happy, and able to thrive. So listen up. If you enjoy this content, do me a favor, drop me a comment below. I need video topics, things that you feel like I can help you with, or things that you'd like my take on so that we can record some good content for you. And also, do me a favor, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And most importantly, I know I'm asking a lot here, is if you feel like this content is useful for somebody, take a moment to send them a link to the video. Believe it or not, we've had thousands of men come to us over the years saying how important and impact the message that we speak has been for their lives, has improved their marriage, their relationship, their well-being. And so if you know something that another man doesn't, and you know he needs that, and you withhold it from him, you're doing him a disservice. So like I said, make that effort. Give the video a share. And I'll be on here tomorrow with another episode for you. Stay vigilant, and I'll see you soon.